Hey everyone. All right, so this is 10.7 two-way tables. So we have a few things we need to talk about. So we just went over in the last video quantitative and qualitative data. So quantitative is measured by data, it's actual numbers. So measured by numbers, it's numerical. Qualitative is something that you can't measure. It's a quality of some sort. So sometimes it's a survey or a gender or blue eyes and things like that. So something that would be a quality and characteristic versus actual numerical data. Two-way frequency table, it organizes by bivariate qualitative data. So you're going to see that in a second. So qualitative data, things that are categorical, characteristics, and it's just a table that organizes those. So joint relative frequencies are values in the middle, and we'll talk about what that is in example 1. And marginal relative frequencies, again, values on the right and the bottom. We'll talk about that in example 1 as well. So let's just move down to example 1. We've got class of 20 students recorded their hair color and their eye color, which are shown in the two-way table below. Okay. So part A, how many students had blonde hair and blue eyes? Okay, so if we're looking for blonde hair and they had blue eyes, we would go to where those intersected, and that would be 4. So this would be those joint frequencies, the values in the middle, the joint relative, and there are 4 students that recorded that. Okay, so that's what a joint relative frequency looks like. And then for part B, how many students had red hair? So we're looking at just hair color, not eye color. So we would go down to the total of how many we had, and we had 4. And this is that marginal, because it's on the margins of your table. So this is marginal. Okay, so that's what joint and marginal look like. So for 2, construct a table that shows the joint relative and marginal relative frequencies for the table above. So we're going to take the table that we have here, and we're going to figure out the relative frequencies. So we're going to put them in, we'll put them in percents. Sometimes they're in decimals. So sometimes they're in decimals, but we'll go ahead and we'll put them in percents for this example. All right, so what we're going to do is, looking at our table, we're going to take this first section, black hair and blue eyes. We have 3 students that said they have black hair and blue eyes, and we're going to divide that by the total number of students we have. So 3 students out of 20 students said black hair and blue eyes, and then that as a percent would just be 15%. And we're going to do that for all of them. So black hair and brown eyes was 5. So 5 out of 20. That should be 25%. And then we're going to do the same thing here. So 1 out of 20 should get us 5%. So then now our total for black hair was 9 out of 20. So hopefully we get 45%, because that's what these would be added up. So 9 divided by 20, we do get 45%. So that's what we're going to do for all of these columns. So for blonde and red hair, I want you to go ahead and do the blonde and red hair on your own, and then I'll show you the number for totals. Okay? All right, so these are the percents that you should have for the blonde hair and red hair columns. So to get your totals, all I did was add across my rows to get my totals for the right, just like we did in the columns. And then each side should total this 100%, okay, because this is that 20 out of 20. Okay, 20 students out of 20 students were surveyed, so we should have 100% for those frequencies. All right, so that's how you would make a table. All right, so here we have number 3. So determine if there's a connection between eye color and hair color by using conditional relative frequencies. So we have the same table. So we're going to take a look at part A. What is the conditional relative frequency of having green eyes if you have red hair? So when we're looking at part A, we're looking for a causal correlation. Okay, so we're looking for that relationship there. So we need to look for the relative frequency of having green eyes if you have red hair. So this person has red hair. So what is the relative frequency if they also have green eyes? Okay, so if they have three students that said they have green eyes with red hair, that would mean it would be 0.75 or 75%. Okay, so that's all we're doing in our table. So for part B, I want you to try that one on your own. What is the conditional relative frequency of having green eyes if you have black hair? All right, so for part B, I got 11%. So you would just look for black hair where it intersects with green eyes. They have black hair. So then look at how many students have the green eyes. So you should get 11%. And so part C, does it appear that having green eyes has a dependency or at least an association with having red hair? So remember, association is that relationship. So based off what we got for part A, it does look like there's some sort of relationship between having red hair and green eyes. So you can write yes there. So you can write an explanation. So we've answered it, so explain. So it's a 75% frequency, which can represent a strong relationship because it's close to 100%. So 75% relative frequency, it does look like it could have some sort of relationship in that way. Relationship. There we go. All right, so then part D, is it more likely that a person with black hair has blue eyes or that a person with blonde hair has brown? We're going to put eyes there. So use conditional marginal frequencies to support your answer. All right, so we need to take a look at black hair with blue eyes, and we need to take a look at blonde hair with brown eyes. So let's take a look at the first one, black hair with blue eyes. So black with blue eyes is 3 out of 9 because that's the marginal. We're using our margins, so 3 out of 9. And so 3 out of 9, when we do the calculation, should give us about 33%. And then we're going to do the same thing with blonde hair and brown eyes. So for blonde hair and brown eyes, we have 2 out of 7. So 2 out of 7, when we calculate that, we should get about 28.5% or 29%, however you want to round. So it is more likely to have blonde hair and brown eyes. Or no, I'm sorry. Wow. You can tell it's the end of the school year. It's more likely to have black hair and blue eyes. All right. So the last thing I want you to do, I want you to create a two-way table based off the chart that we have. So you're going to do the percents like we did for the last problem. Okay, so what I want you to do is to do my life. There's no point in doing that. That's extra. Ignore me. End of the school year. If you have any questions, come to office hours. Have a great day.